Drainage Board called the meeting to order May 30th, showing Mr. Goff, Mr. Cox, and Mr. Coots is here. The other two are not here, but we have enough to do a quorum, so we can do the minutes that Mary has got prepared for us. And I think as we discussed, we can do them all, right?
I think so.
So we'll take the minutes of,
Well,
March 28th.
Start with the 23rd,
28th.
28th, excuse
Is
me.
he recording? Yep, okay.
Was I there?
I got the 28th.
We gotta approve it first.
I can't.
Make a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
No.
The 28th.
Made a motion, and Mr. Cox
I can't figure out how to
seconded.
open it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're doing them one at a time.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So the motion is carried, and we need to vote.
Yep.
How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye, okay. So that's the 28th. Thank you for getting those together, Mary.
28th.
Thank you very much.
Okay. The next one's the 11th, April 11th.
Who was it? I think
Yeah, I wasn't
Richard
there.
wasn't here, Pat wasn't here. Gordon and I was here.
So we can approve it.
that's still a majority of who's
Yeah,
here.
You make a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion. You second.
Yeah, Mr. Case makes a motion approving April 11th. The Gordon makes a second. They vote whether on the vote of approval of the minutes.
I abstain.
And Richard abstains, but it still carries 2-1.
Yep.
The next one's April 25th.
Thank you all there.
April 25th.
Yeah.
Gordon, Kenny, Pat, Richard,
I think everybody was present at that one.
Yeah.
So we can approve.
Mary was the only one not here,
I
so
move we approve
we
it.
can approve the
25th.
Okay,
25th.
I have a motion, Mr. Cox approved the 25th of April.
Second.
Kenny? You got a second, Kenny?
Yeah, yeah.
Kenny Cates, second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. It's always easy to do that one at a time, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it hadn't worked that way.
And then I'll just bring these to the next meeting and Mark can sign them and whoever else. If
Okay,
not,
so we're ready for the.
Thank you.
March-
May 9th.
May 9th.
May 9th.
Mhm.
I'll make a motion.
Was I there?
You's here.
Okay, I'll
Okay.
second.
Kenny made the motion, Mr. Cox made the second. All in favor of the motion would say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's the motion carried, 3, 4, all three. So that takes care of the minutes.
Okay.
Okay, we got that, the minutes approved then.
thank you.
Okay, Jim, you wanna walk us through the claims that we have?
You do that.
First one's Cook Excavating, $340 in the Lumbo ditch, there's $10,789 in the fund. The second one was Cook Excavating, $1,192 on the Lumbo with $10,000 in the fund. And he said it was really in pretty good shape where he fixed it, you know. That one was, close to the head wall.
So Lumbo, was these, log jams or?
Tile,
No, tile.
it's a
broke.
tile, it's actually tile.
There ain't much cover on that at all.
Right. But this big break was close to the head wall, affecting everybody in the whole watershed. John's Repair Service, $2,867 on the Matthews ditch, $17,796 in the fund. John's Repair Service, $452 on the Matthews ditch. John's Repair Service, $2,835.75 on the Sims Franklin ditch, $26,160 in the fund. And IMI Stone Riprap, $174.07 on the Sims Franklin, $23,000 in the fund. These we got a breakdown of what he done, but this was taking out that tree that fell down, taking out the junk from the tornado, from the school, metal. And
Well, we had styrofoam.
Styrofoam.
That flew off the gym and flew in the creek, and part of the metal
Just the
off the gym went in the creek, and they went in there with pitchforks, or,
By hand.
you know,
I mean, Mark
yeah,
said-
the $452 was for picking up the steel and the styrofoam.
Mark said something about we found his,
Yeah, he's gonna turn that into FEMA, isn't he?
so you'll.
so they may wanna put,
I'll ask him what he needs to do.
this stuff, part of it washed underneath the railroad track and went east and got over into the Sims Franklin.
Okay.
I got pictures of
So we get,
We believe it.
we may be able to get reimbursed.
Yeah.
Okay, and you people take care of that, right?
Yep.
Yep, I need to go with Mark and see what he needs.
So was I understanding Mark was gonna get some funds to boost our general drain improvement fund up if we got.
And
Right.
he seems to think he can get FEMA money on cleaning this up, I don't know.
Yeah.
You hear different stories on that.
Yeah. So we got 2, 4, 6 claims. Any questions on them?
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
I'll second
Mr. Gates made the motion, Mr. Cox second. Any ready for the question on these claims? All in favor, say aye.
it. Alright.
Aye, carried 3-3, well, 3, motion carried for the first set of claims, okay? How about the second set of claims?
Kenny Case is to abstain. This is on Big Pipe Creek. Cook Excavating, $2,935 on Pipe Creek, $128,675 in the fund. Cook Excavating, $2,715 on Pipe Creek. And Cook Excavating, $637.50 on Pipe Creek. And I think he's done now, because, you know, we've been tackling these log jams out on Pipe Creek for,
So
trying to get everything ready for planting.
this is all log jams?
I think it is. Some of this was cleanup work of old piles too.
Okay.
He needs to get on up there for road work
Mm-hmm.
through JD.
JD didn't want a path cut, and then he don't want his good trees cut down. I told him we still, you know, somehow we need to get in there and take out anything that's fallen in the creek. And just use the path of least resistance, you know.
But then.
Somebody needs to work on him and see if he can soften him up.
Yeah, he'll be one to do it.
Cause we, you know, we got to means $128,000 in the fund. We could cut an access path like we have other places. And that wouldn't leave him much trees, but whatever good trees, if he's got good walnuts in there or something, cut them and set them
No,
aside.
he's a tree hugger. I like JD, don't get me wrong, but he'll let Cook Mitch do as much work down through there as anybody, okay?
Okay,
But you can't go on the east side of that creek because that's a big stone bank. and
yeah, that's where they put all their flagstone in the 40s when they
So
jackhammered that out.
you gotta go on the west side of it. And you can't go very far, I mean, all you can do is get trees out of there.
Right.
I don't know, we need to look
I
at.
could, you know, Mitch has talked to him before, I could, but I'm not for sure Mitch has his machine that he did all this work with right now.
All kidding aside,
Want me to ask Mitch to work on him and see if he can?
but I can,
Let's see his plan.
see how much stuff's down through there, because I know there has to be some blockage because they're on 38th Street there at the bridge.
Uh-huh,
There's water backed up.
Right.
And it goes south.
it's in good shape south, we done all that
Yeah,
work.
yeah. But old Andy and his boys, probably as good as anybody. You know, I mean, they don't travel much, they're not afraid to get down in the creek and walk in the water.
Them two young guys,
Huh?
them two young guys he has,
Yeah.
yeah.
They do it the hard way.
It gets harder as you get older to get down in there.
So what do we want to do these
Oh,
three?
okay,
Pardon?
but.
I move we pay the 3 cook excavating
Okay.
claims on Pipe Creek.
Mr. Cox makes the motion, I second. Ready for the question then?
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
2 ayes, and opposed? Abstain, and motion carries 2-1. So that holds the claims we have, right?
We got a lot of work out right now.
Yeah.
Still got work going on.
I assume we don't have anything on Little Crane Pond. We're gonna have to.
Never.
I think
I'm
we're
keeping
gonna have
it
to-
on there though. I
Yeah,
will
we'll
not
have to
take
keep
it
it
off.
on there, because
I'm
they're,
stubborn.
yeah, well, we want to keep it on there. We're gonna get it taken care of some way somehow. I don't know how. Maybe.
And I called that broken tile in, it's part of this system that we wanna vacate, and it hadn't been fixed yet, but it's on Rick Sullivan's list. It's by the school.
Little Crane Pond?
Yeah,
What
the
the-
tile, you know, that goes to the head wall, the little open section that we wanna vacate. It's got a tile that comes clear down in Marion by that school, back of Justice.
Back south of Kim Road.
Yeah, what other grade school is that?
Kendall?
Kendall, yeah. Just down from Kendall by a sidewalk. So it's,
It's fixed where somebody falls in.
well, we thought the
Kids
city
fall.
was gonna fix it for about a year, and then they said no. They didn't tell them about it.
Let somebody fall in it, they'll fix it then.
No, they won't.
Houses and all
Mine
right
still
there
hasn't
on
been
top of this tile.
No, right there, it's kinda in a field with a little access sidewalk that goes somewhere. Behind the subdivision.
Well, we're gonna leave it on there and somebody get it done. Are we ready for new business now?
I've talked to Don Hill, and previously in the past, we give him $60 per tree to pull them out on his property. He's wanted me to come out and look at them or take pictures, and I hadn't been able to make it, but there's $56,587 in the fund. And he was gonna come to the meeting if he had to, I just put it on the agenda, cause we need to tell him, you know, the board needs to make a decision.
Well, I'm gonna go on record. He didn't want us, when we dredged that, to mess it up.
I agree.
And he wants to come back and I think we have to make a stand on one way or the other. He didn't want the trees and didn't want us to do it. And we've already spent money, because when you dredge, you get water logged behind your fill. And we spent money to that. Now, the point of which we have to draw the line, and I'm on this ditch. So,
Well, the ash borers come in since then,
Yeah, I
and
know.
we took one batch of trees down and we paid him, or the wind, Mother Nature took them down.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree, it's gotta stop. We're gonna
There's some-
do it one time and be done with it.
we got money, let him say, do you want us to clean it up? Or we're not gonna let you nickel and dime us at your, you know.
Well, I'll tell him he's still invited to the meeting, but you
Yeah.
guys are making a motion not to do it.
Well,
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
okay, somebody make the motion
I'll
now,
make a motion.
and the motion's gonna say what? To help her.
That we're not gonna pay to remove these trees anymore.
Okay, then that's.
I'll second it.
You,
He made it and I'm seconding it.
okay.
But I said it, because he did what he did.
Yeah.
So the motion, the drain, that you agree that you will not pay to remove his trees?
Correct.
Now, what we're gonna do when we got it, the water backs up, we just do a removal as it should have been done bridge.
We'll cross that bridge when the time comes.
Okay,
You talk about clear cutting the path?
There's no maintenance on this?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 56,000 in the fund.
But he wouldn't let us cut them when we cleared it,
and,
because they were his trees then. Now they're
Oh,
dead
yeah,
and fallen,
yeah,
they're ours.
yeah.
and we may have,
We've done it once.
and we may have.
We cleared it once.
We cleaned it out for him once.
Okay.
We cut just what we had to dip the ditch out.
So we may have to, as it gets worse, we may have to go in.
Oh, we'll have to go back and clear it out.
Would we go ahead and clean it up?
Yeah,
But you guys
We'll
are
do it all then.
You guys are willing to come in and spend the money if you go in and clear cut access path and take all of them out of the easement?
Yeah.
Okay.
he won't.
When we go ahead and clean them up, there are trees. We
And
do
we
it
didn't
our
want
way.
us he didn't want to let us do it before. So if he's changed his mind,
It'll be a little better later.
we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah.
So we have a motion before us. All in favor of the motion would signify by saying aye. Two ayes, and I abstain because I'm in.
On the
so
ditch?
Motion carries. What else you got, Jim?
We got Mr. Lozier here today. He's got Walnut Creek and Long Branch coming into his properties. And, neither one of them's on maintenance. I've got a picture over there if you guys have looked at the close-up picture, then the one that shows Gas City and such. There is a general drain improvement fund. I knew the chairman's not here today, but Mark was trying to get funds to do some of this work.
Jim, do you need to look at these?
Yeah.
I got them marked.
No, there isn't any,
No maintenance.
That's a lot.
there ain't no maintenance on this.
No, and the process, I could send you the information, how you start a process, like, so I'm on Taylor Creek and I pay $5 an acre. I only have 11 acres, but I pay $5 an acre, and then I pay $50 for a home site. That goes and drains almost all Swayze. They pay $50 a home site. And my water goes about 2 miles downstream, and I pay another tax on Big Pipe Creek. See, Big Pipe Creek has 128,000 in the fund. So any logs that fall in, you know, Raymond's researched it and tried to figure out where does our easement stop. The county has the right of easement to get in there and make improvements, or sometimes people don't get along and they intentionally block up other people's property, and we've got a right. We think it's a county drain with easement clear to Garthwaite. From there on, it's a natural creek, and it's never been, before 1964, that's when the Indiana Drainage Code was applied. Everything went through the court system, and that's how a tax was applied and how it got to be made a county drain. But there's to get funds started, the Drainage Board likes 10% of the affected acreage to sign a petition. You know, you got double jeopardy because you got a Long Branch that runs all the way through your property, and then Walnut Creek comes in on the east and makes a gradual bend, and then there's the Long Branch. It hits Walnut Creek off of your property, right?
Yeah.
Neither one of them, they don't meet it. It looks like it was north of you where it meets.
Yeah.
We can have both hearings in the same day.
Yeah, we could have both hearings in the same day, but to generate money, you'd petition, you and whoever you get to sign it. The farmers have been reluctant because a lot of it's bordered by woods and their farm fields are a little bit off, so it's not affected as bad as, you got on Big Pipe Creek, drains about a third of the county, farm ground's right up against it, you know. They're more apt to sign a petition. But once the Drainage Board would get that, we would have a 30-day notice. Everybody in the watershed, we'd put a watershed together from the old records and have a 30-day notice for a public hearing. If it passed that public hearing, then money would start to be collected, and if we do all that this year, then the money's collected next spring as spring taxes. But that's the way you would generate money to come in here and clean it. The county has the right of easement, they're still your trees, and it's still your property. So you got a right to do whatever you want, but unless Mark gets some kind of grant money to put in our general drain improvement fund, I don't think there's any money available for this right now. You guys would have to tell
You
me.
can sit here and look, if they got a problem, we're not questioning that, but there's no money.
Shall I run up to
And-
the public hearing petition?
Probably
You could,
Just tell them, should
you
I go right
could,
now?
you could.
half of Gas City's gonna be on this.
Going into it.
And they'd have to talk to their mayor or town board, see what rates they're willing to pay. I don't wanna buck them and go into a public hearing trying to assess them $50 a home site. It's gonna stir up a,
The bad part is here, you're not gonna have the whole town, you're gonna have half the town,
Yeah, I'd have to look at storm maps and
you
stuff.
know.
If you
Where
put it on-
over
if you put on
Slade, we
maintenance
had
just at 10th
One on
Street.
each side,
You got the whole town.
and we had the whole town, made the whole town the same, okay?
Yeah, cause if you put it on maintenance just to 10th Street, you got that other mall to Garthwaite, and I've seen log jams to the west of 10th Street before. Sometimes they're big enough, they kinda stay and the creek will reroute around them. But other times they just end up floating down to the neighbors or God knows where. But on Big Pipe Creek, see, we pull along to the end where it's farm ground, we've got it clear cut, about to where Kenny was talking about to here, and then there's a bad stretch here that nobody's wanted done. And then we took out probably $20,000 worth of log jams from here to the county line. Miami's working on some log jams, we're gonna be getting a bill from them over there. And then Luger Creek, this whole Luger Creek is on maintenance at $3 an acre with a $10 home site, because it's such a big watershed, we made the home sites a little less, there's like 300 homes out in there. But the person that carries a petition, it'd kind of be your job to, as you talk to people, see what the farmers wanted to pay and stuff, and, you know, we could get you organized with the Indiana Drainage Code on legalities of how it all happens. I just spit out the short version. But, even supply you with,
There's no funds.
To do this, right?
but even to supply you with the names of some of the bigger landowners that you would go and see if they would be willing to pay a tax. But if you can't get a tax started, yeah, it's every man for themselves out there.
Alright, I'll probably just take care of it, cause I'm assuming most people ain't gonna wanna pay more taxes, I know I wouldn't, so.
But it's
That's no problem.
tough to get through these meetings.
Yeah, that's okay, I just wish I'd have known, cause I wouldn't have wasted, you know, my time and years to come here. We talked on the phone for about an hour, I feel, and you said to come here with these pictures and,
Well, you gotta ask the board. We got 2 board members, our chairman's missing today. He was trying to get some of this federal grant money. If he got some of that to go on our drainage board, we could go out and maybe take out the worst ones. But he's not here to answer questions.
okay.
Wait, do you want to write the ditch needs here?
Well, really,
They're called.
does this thing need to be on maintenance?
It wouldn't hurt. I mean, it's never been.
I've got you some petitions.
Just,
right?
just a rough guess, there's 19,000 acres in the watershed. So in order for him to have 10%, he'd have to have 1,900 acres on the petition to even get it to a hearing.
Mary went up and got the petitions. But I just I can't answer for the board, and Mark
Yeah,
is
it's a
working
big
on
one.
Mark is working on,
I mean, it's basically from the
Well, if we
railroad
got
north
19,000 acres, it wouldn't have to be too high.
all the way to the county line and beyond.
You know, $5 be
A lot of money.
be a lot of money,
They'd pull in a bunch when it pulled in.
but, you know,
You'd
I
have
don't
to,
know where all this goes, but
all the way to Blackford County.
see, Blackford County had their own drainage board meeting years ago, and they got it assessed almost to 5. And our people pay into that one and then send them the money. And they have worked on clear cutting it and some, but it's more of a farm ditch there. It doesn't quite get to the creek.
what's this, a river?
That's a real creek right there. Both of them are. The other one's, Long Branch is a small stream, a small creek.
Yeah.
But, you know,
I'd see if I could get a little kitty to start. Okay, I mean, you know, you feel them out, and we can always have a hearing, and And, if you don't get the houses, there'd be a bunch of houses on it, if you don't get them too high, you know,
I know Steve Holslider's interested in it. He mentioned it last year, but he came up against what you're coming up against, that
Well,
many acres.
you know, we
Yeah.
could give you petitions for both of them, and Mary's business card, this is Drainage Board Secretary, keeps track of the money in the funds. And then I could send you a copy of the Indiana Code about how it all happens. And then, you know, Mark's supposed to be getting some kind of federal grant money. If he got some of that, maybe we could come in and take out the major ones.
Yeah, I mean, I run, 2 businesses, I got tons of property, I got 4 kids. I don't have time to track down 1,900 acres worth of people to sign a petition.
Well,
I ain't got it.
Okay.
So I appreciate your guys' time, and,
Okay,
Thanks for coming.
some funds come up or whatever, you guys wanna do it, that's fine, otherwise we'll
I'll
just leave
keep
it as
your
is.
number.
Okay.
okay, thank you. Any other business that needs to be talked about?
is that, who's that?
Mr. Lozier.
Closure.
Is that any relation to what's got the record service up there or what?
Yeah.
So do we have any other business to be brought before the board?
No. Mary does.
I don't know if, you know how you guys like the finances to know how much is in the drains? Okay, I have $26,479 worth of claims that need a loan, but I can't do them because of when they were incurred. They'll collect interest and the treasurer's behind. I'm still waiting on February, March, and April interest. If I do the claim now, then, a ditch that might have went in the red in March is gonna get February and part of March's interest, and my claim will be wrong, and I have to start it all over again. So, if you wanna look at this, but just wanting to explain why I can't.
You can't do anything till they do their job.
Yeah.
So she's just gotta wait.
I just want you guys to know why I haven't given you,
Okay,
An updated right version.
I can't tell you anything.
yeah, well, that's.
Last time I went to her, she said, when it gets done, it gets done.
That's like the middle of the road, of course, we went, it's not gonna, we're gonna vacate it, but we're not gonna send out the money till fall, right? And see
Yep, after it
everybody's
collects.
paid, everybody's paid, then we'll.
Why's the Hollis artery so far in debt? We doing it?
They won't, go ahead, Raymond.
They dredged the lower part to outlet the I-9.
Weren't we
New
collecting
tile.
on it?
Huh?
Are we collecting on
Yeah,
it?
we had a
Yeah.
hearing to raise it, and when we raised it at that meeting, we had 2 different landowners that wanted to spend more money than we had,
Oh, okay.
and it's gonna bounce back.
It's just gonna take some time.
This year it'll come back, but
Okay.
It bounces back into black, and we're gonna have extra money in the fall.
pulls in 37 grand a year.
Fulham Camp did one part for Townsend,
Yeah.
and the other guy did the other part
Blake Powell.
and that was for a group.
Yeah, Atkins and Poe
And
and,
the other county surveyor wanted it.
yeah, that was for that outlet to the
The
High
rest and
Line
dredge.
Okay.
tile, but
That explains it.
expensive tile.
And you know,
They're
I
paying for
apologize
20
for,
years.
you know, I didn't wanna make this guy upset, but I tried to tell him, you know, I just didn't explain the code a whole lot, I guess, about petitioning it, but
Well, you don't wanna take the time, so
Yeah.
why should we?
And we'll,
it's not my decision, it's the drainage board's decision.
Yep.
And I tell people to come, cause I can't second guess you
can't
guys
say yea or nay.
and make your decisions for you.
well, I
Well, it'd
appreciate,
been nice if he could've got enough to get it started, have a hearing, and you wouldn't have had to get too high
Mm-hmm.
with 19,000 acres.
Yeah.
But sometimes they're gonna need money down through there to clean this thing,
Yeah.
well,
so they'll be back again.
well, we did the Long Branch, had we done that a few years ago?
Mm-hmm. We had a reconstruction and they didn't want to pay maintenance.
And it's.
They paid for it to do it.
To Farmington Road, from Farmington Road north, they were in opposition. So we did it clean out, brush and dredge, clear to the end. That drains the Gas City interchange, so all them would be assessed, all them businesses.
Yeah.
It'd be a big watershed to put together. Raymond's kind of worked on it for this other guy getting organized.
Well, it butts up against Luger Creek, so I mean, the water's going one way or the other on that
Yeah.
line.
But, you know, a group still needs to acted as far as wanting to pay a tax before the board would act on it. We gotta have support.
But a lot of that over there is rolling ground, you have little fields, it's not
Yeah.
big acreage, so you don't have big farmers over there.
Yeah,
If they're farming 2,000 acres on that side of the county, they're huge.
What,
And their water gets away, cause it's got woods bordered it, wood floods the farm
would
ground out.
Walmart be in on that?
Yeah, I think so, yeah, going Long
Be
Branch,
close.
doesn't it? Walmart distribution, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, they are.
yeah, they're coming into Long Branch, I'm not sure, well, on the other side would be that East Mill tile that does.
Gas City. Yeah.
So, yeah,
Well, Walmart has a lot of water going in there.
a lot of hard surface area. Well, and all them facilities out there.
Oh, it'd be a large assessment,
Okay.
even at a small rate.
It take a while to assemble it.
Well, I mean, yeah, but what I'm saying is if you just had $1, you get 19,000 plus houses.
Yeah.
And you
$10
make them
home side.
$5 or $10.
Yeah.
Okay.
I threw that $10 out there.
You have to have the meeting at the school or
You can
something.
get,
but we can't do that without somebody petitioning, right?
Right. Indiana code says they should start it.
when you have a hearing, you'll fill the building.
Yeah.
Either that or nobody will show up.
Oh, they'll show up.
Is there anything else that needs to be brought before the board?
I've got 3 logs I pulled out of Taylor Creek and I'm not charging you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Make you feel better.
Yeah.
Okay, have
I'll
you
make
guys
a motion
signed
to adjourn.
the, contract for right of way? Yeah, and the Milner Moon vacation, both those need signed by you?
And then we're done, aren't we?
Oh,
Good.
we need the mill and the moon, you saying?
Yeah, we had a public hearing while I was gone,
Yeah.
but the findings need to be signed.
Okay.
But you weren't there. Oh, you have landed.
Ryan may want to talk about the pond ordinance.
The,
Brian,
why don't I just let Mark sign this?
Yeah.
I could even stamp it, but I'd like to have his permission to do that if I do. Okay.
That's
Okay.
where we vacated that one.
I've got other stuff he needs to sign too.
Yeah, can,
You're in it.
but
I have you abstaining on that, on your
Yeah,
signature line.
but I need to sign it.
No,
No
you
sign?
can't. You didn't vote on it.
Oh, okay.
That's why I put it there on that line so you couldn't.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you for taking care of us. Anything else to be before the board?
I'll make a motion.
Motion, second, Mr. Cox. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion
Oh,
carried.
Ryan's there. You need something, Ryan?
I was just gonna say, I've got the pond ordinance going in front of, Area Plan Commission on Monday. Or first reading. I know Raymond had some stuff he wanted to discuss, I think with one of you guys, and was gonna get back to me.
Yeah, the one, that Article 4, where I'd like the dirt to be put in that area where it needs to be put. I don't know where we'd put it if we didn't, how it was worded there. That's the only thing I seen that probably could be changed a little bit.
I talked with Pat, and Pat's not here today.
Are you having your public hearing this coming Monday at the area plan meeting, board meeting?
First reading.
Okay,
For what? For solar?
no, for,
Pond.
ponds under an
Pond
acre.
ordinance. The pond ordinance.
Even though they adjourned.
I don't think they did. They
Pond
didn't
for
get to
what?
it.
The pond.
Oh. Excuse me.
This is ponds under an acre,
Yeah.
and it's ordinance with about 4 pages of instructions.
Okay,
I had given it to you guys, and you guys, I believe, I don't have the exact date now, but you guys had given me consensus to move it on to the Area Plan Commission. So I did, and then Raymond came up and said, hey, we got a couple more things. So we're still in that, nothing's in stone yet. So anything we need to change or want to change, I just need to know before we get into the readings.
What is it?
If the APC votes unanimously, then it would actually get adopted Monday. Or if it doesn't vote unanimously, it would move on to a second reading.
You wanna bring us up to date what,
Well, if I'm going,
Go ahead.
if I'm the pond police and I don't agree with it, I'll be voting no. It'll be in that second reading. But we're waiting on Pat, he's a licensed engineer to put his,
2 cents in.
yeah.
I mean, I have no credentials, I have no certificates, but I have worked on a lot of ponds, and a lot of it just doesn't make any sense to me about putting the elevation back to what it was before you build the pond. Having an extra septic area besides what a person might have already put in. I think it's too detailed to give a blind permit to something that you don't know what you're looking at. I think it would be better off with a cheap $25 preliminary review. Just look at the location and see if it's feasible or not. If there's a tile going through there, then no, it shouldn't be. And then who's gonna have the time to critique it? I mean,
Well, that's gonna be me and you.
if we give permission to put a pond in and then we give them a permit, they make it and something happens wrong, are we not liable for what happens?
Yeah.
There's too many aspects to scrutinize it, in my opinion.
Well, just because somebody gets a permit don't mean they follow it, that's the problem. Hopefully they will, once we talk to them and they read all the regulations. That Article 4, I just think there'd be a place to put the dirt around the pond, because you don't put it somewhere it shouldn't go.
I mean, sometimes it's bad to put dirt next to the road, other times it's advantageous to contain the side ditch water and redirect that water to another location. On here it says not to change the permanent flow of the water. In certain situations, it's better to divide that water and run it 2 different directions or 3 different directions to lower the quantity that's going there.
But what I worry about is like the pond we went out and looked at on Josina Creek that was done years ago. Yeah, the guy stopped the water coming on his property and he contained it, and now he's got a tube that outlets a few feet from the property.
And saturates the
and it
neighbor.
saturates that corner. Well, that corner's probably always been wet. My idea is he needs to do improvements to get that water across his property to his next neighbor like it used to do. They've tried to farm it. Just kind of holed up in the corner, but there's nothing in the code about all these past ponds that got dumped on somebody. And I just worry about somebody making a pond and then discharging it at a bad location. They need to discharge it on their property far enough back that all the erosion or is on them. And I even took up for the guy, 'cause I said, well, he's holding all that water back from coming on your property, but yeah, when his pond overflows, you get the water no matter what. If the pond wasn't there, you'd be getting the water the whole time it rained. So he's slowing the erosion down really in this situation. They're so unique and individual, just it depends on where they are, so.
I'd rather it just be a review, not necessarily a permitting.
Well, we're already into the public hearing on Monday.
And if you remember, I researched surrounding areas. I just wanted to see what was out there, and everyone has a pond ordinance but us. So
This is an example you got from other counties, so we may just have to go with it and see what happens. But, if you wanted to have a second reading and after we talk to Pat, change just a little bit of the wording, I'd be okay with that too.
Yeah, and again, with what's out there, it could be a paragraph, it could be a page, it could be 8 pages. I mean, it's all out there. I think the biggie was, really it falls to that site plan. Just, are they putting it in over a septic? Are they putting it right next to a regulated drain? I think that was the biggie on it.
Yeah, that's all gotta be in there and checked on.
Well, as far as the public coming to you with a plan to start with, they're gonna need to know what those setbacks are for all them stipulations so they can make the preliminary plan correctly instead of bringing you a preliminary plan that they didn't know the setbacks.
Well, the ordinance has the setbacks.
If they do the details or the research to find out how much from the roads, which varies on different roads, It just,
And there's gonna be guys out there just dig a pond and don't check on any ordinance, so.
Well, they put one in east of the warehouse there in Swayze.
Yeah.
I checked on it. It's in the town limits.
Uh-huh.
It's not in the county.
Okay.
When the boy come in there with the bulldozer and starts pushing all this dirt out of there to build a pond, they needed the dirt, cause the boy's gonna build a house there
Uh-huh.
and get it up out of the.
Well, floodplain, water good.
But when they,
Don't put a basement there.
when they, he come in there and started pushing it out, he hit a tile,
Okay, yeah.
okay?
And how do you reroute the tile?
Well,
You can't.
They're going to. They've already started working,
Going around.
working on
Yeah,
it.
but if you
Okay,
don't
'cause,
put a bend in it, you got an elbow.
Yeah.
Water don't flow through the elbow like it did.
you know, 'cause when you fill the pond, it's gonna come right back down to the warehouses there,
Oh, yeah.
you know, when the pond fills up,
Yeah, you gotta have a good overflow that it doesn't back up on your neighbors.
you know, so I've been pushing a little on that,
Uh-huh.
you know? But,
Well, anything else we want?
And we might get some answers from Pat before your meeting, so we can approve it at the first one, okay?
And again, I'm not married to anything in there. Everything in there came from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that was for you guys to X this out and add to this and change that. So that was the hope. And should we get someone would bring in an application, you know, it instantly goes to you guys. If they're close to the road, then it would go to the highway department, health department, for all of you guys to send back to us before we issue anything. So, I mean, we're gonna get everyone's okay before we do anything.
Okay, good. I'll be looking at it and then I'll be bringing it to the board. So it won't just be my approval, the board will be looking at the whole site, what it's doing, and we'll get the board's input, and then it'll go back to you.
why don't you email us a copy of what you're coming up with for Monday night or whatever?
I can do that.
Okay, anything else?
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. After we're done recording.
We gotta, vote on the adjournment. I've got the motion in the second.
Oh, we didn't vote on the
We
adjournment.
started to then.
Well, motion to adjourn the meeting.
Yeah, we gotta vote on it.
Did, we just, yeah,
Aye.
all right, good, yeah,
Okay, you can stop it now.
okay. These ponds.
It's still recording.
Won't
Wait,
be no recording problem.
it's still recording.